It sort of hit me the other day. It's almost time for the NRL once again. The season kicks off in Las Vegas a little over 3 weeks from now, or much less than that, depending on when you happen to be watching this very video. Last year's event kicked ass. Look, it wasn't perfect, but honestly, for a professional sports league with minimal presence stateside, you really couldn't have asked for much more. Will this year's effort top 2024 festivities? Look, I've already aired my grievances about the format for 2025. I'm not in love with it. I'm not head over heels for it. 4 games, 1 day, it's just too much. There is a reason why both the NRL and Super League don't play 4 games in a single day during their respective Magic Round and Magic Weekends. But I've already said my piece on that. Now it is time to focus on what is not what should be, and what is an interesting slate of games, activities, and just a huge celebration of rugby league in Sin City. It'll certainly be more entertaining than anything the Raiders served up at Allegiant Stadium this past NFL season. Desmond Ridder, Monday Night Football, no thank you, I'm good. Looking at things from the bigger picture, there is just so much to be excited about when it comes to the NRL's second foray in Las Vegas. Let's start with the main event, although for television purposes it may not actually be the main event. Whatever the case may be, it is Panthers versus Sharks. The Panthers may have won 4 consecutive grand finals, but they've also lost their past 2 season openers to the Storm and Broncos respectively. That is because the Panthers are usually in the midst of adjusting after losing key players. This is the case once more heading into 2025. As for the Sharks, they lost to the Panthers in the preliminary finals last season, and their regular season record against Penrith in recent times is just not great. In fact, going all the way back to 2020, the Sharks are 1-6 against the Panthers, including drubbings of 42-0, 28-0, and 48-0. But if there were a time to break the hoodoo, well, this would be it. In all seriousness, putting that recent history aside, this for me is the match of the round. You have 2 teams, both of which probably think they're in contention to win it all this season, going head to head to kick off the season. It doesn't get much better than that. Another thing I'm excited for, Super League representation. This year we'll see the Warrington Wolves face off against the Wigan Warriors in a matchup that I suppose ardent admirers of alliteration will appreciate. It is a rivalry clash that dates back to the 1870s and should feature a bit of spice. Seriously, these are 2 sides that once had a clash so violent on New Year's Day 1988 it became known as World War III. As for the Super League itself, what I enjoy about it is that it's a different type of rugby league than what the NRL offers. Yes, both are rugby league leagues, but each has a unique style of play and culture around the game that make them unique spectacles in their own right. And that really makes it extremely cool that you have these 2 leagues both represented, both playing at the same place as part of the same event. It'd be like having a college football game and an NFL game played at the same stadium on the same day. Although, let's be real here, those Brits are going to be absolutely shit-faced by the time that 4th game gets started, if they're even in the stadium at all by that point in time. The next thing I'm excited about when it comes to the NRL in Las Vegas in 2025, well, this one, I'm going to be honest, is very much a me thing, but it's going to be the interactions between the fans of the NRL Canberra Raiders and the NFL Las Vegas Raiders, who are just going to be wondering what the hell is happening right now. The Raiders franchise from the National Rugby League are already trying to bond with the NFL Raiders. Really though, apart from the name, these are just 2 very different sort of teams. The reason Las Vegas Raiders fans are going to be so confused is because the Canberra Raiders are pretty much the NRL equivalent to the Minnesota Vikings. Same traditions, the same pregame things. There is only one team in the NFL that blows a giant horn and claps in unison, and they ain't playing in Vegas. Yet the Raiders from the ACT are doing their damnedest to try to cozy up to the NFL Raiders. Look, see, we have the same name as you. That makes us buddies, but it really doesn't. And those NFL Raiders fans, I just don't think they're going to get it. I think they're just going to see the Canberra Raiders as this Minnesota Vikings knockoff. And regardless, I think their interactions are going to just be comic gold. There are also reasons to be excited about both the USA Eagles men's and women's teams playing during the week of NRL festivities in Las Vegas. The men will play Greece twice, while the women's side take on the Greeks once. Now, those games are taking place in some Las Vegas public park, But when it comes to the USARL, I guess something is better than nothing. Speaking of the USARL, I am dying to talk about this really weird graphic they put out last year. They're promoting this seminar using a photo of Wayne Bennett, and I can find no proof of him actually attending that seminar, by the way. Seriously though, why did whoever made this not include his hands? It looks creepy as hell, like it's just... So yeah, I spent like 5 minutes just rambling on about that graphic, and I know no one else but me cares, so I just edited that part out. We're going to move past it onto something else. That something being the USA Eagles. They are coming off a sweep of South Africa and a tour over there, so it is good for them to build up some momentum against a Greece side that participated in the most recent World Cup. Meanwhile, the women are coming off a split in the America's Cup, having beat Jamaica before losing to Canada. Speaking of our beloved neighbors to the north, they will not be taking part in the Vegas Fun this time around, despite being involved in 2024. This does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity. I think rugby league in both America and Canada needs to grow simultaneously. Both nations do need each other, but what are you going to do? I suppose we should just be happy that the USARL did manage to cancel these friendlies against the Greeks, like they have the last two club championships here stateside. Heyo. The inclusion of a matchup between the Australian Jillaroos and the England women's national team is another critical step forward for growing the women's game. And make no mistake, women's rugby league is a no joke. I'd argue the potential for it in North America is arguably larger than the men's game. It's not like union has this huge foothold on the professional side of things, and there are a lot of women's union players at the university level, so is there an opportunity to build something on the league side of things as well? I'd argue yes. It's work, but a women's rugby league gaining traction stateside is definitely a possibility, just a thought. Finally, I'm excited that all 4 matchups in Las Vegas are going to be broadcast on TV in the good old US of A via the Fox family of networks. Accessibility is key, and having Raiders Warriors on the actual Fox network, not FS1, FS2, or anything else, is huge because you could literally run test bars on one of the major networks and it's going to draw in a few 100,000 people. So, at the very least, a few 100,000 stragglers are going to be tuning into Fox and seeing the Raiders take on the Warriors. FS1 will have the Panthers and Sharks in the England-Australia Women's International, hopefully not interrupted by another Big East college basketball blowout. Fingers crossed, eh? Meanwhile, the Wigan and Warrington clash is going to be put on Fox Soccer Plus, not prime real estate, but at least it's something. And that, for me, is sort of what it all comes down to. That's what I'm excited about the most as a rugby league fan, an American rugby league fan, that is. At least this is something. I've said this about both union and league here on the channel. There is room for growth. There is the potential for both codes to be something stateside, both men's and women's. We are a nation in which arena football has had more lives than your average cat. We are a nation in which 3-on-3 basketball, the most boring, uninteresting form of basketball there is trying to start a professional league, or has a professional league at this point. Hell, we're even seeing a push to make a flag football competition. Rugby league is fast, it's exciting, it's action-packed, it's hard-hitting, it has everything a sports fan in the United States could possibly want, but more importantly, it's not the bastardization of some other sport. It's not flag football, it's not 3-on-3 basketball, it's something new and fun and cool. I am a person who finds arena football interesting and exciting. I'm someone who will watch arena football games, but it just can't hold a candle to both rugby league and the Super League. There is still a long way to go before the US embraces league, but you have to start somewhere. The second go-round of the National Rugby League in Las Vegas and all the adjacent events, well, it's a pretty good place to start. That, at the end of the day, is what I'm most excited about. More folks in America seeing a sport, seeing a league that is, well, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to take the NRL's own marketing line. A sport that is truly unreal. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to know more about the weird attempts to combine American football and Australian rules football into a single sport, well, check out the video on your screen now. Until next time, I am Gianolis. This is The Touchback, and as always, hashtag take it out to the 25.